Since dental implants are quite expensive, isn't there some kind of government support available?
Yes, that's correct. For those aged 65 and over, excluding cases with no teeth at all, health insurance covers the cost of up to 2 implants per person in their lifetime. You can get treatment with a copayment of just 30% of the total cost.
So it means 2 implants per person are covered for life. Then, what would be the approximate cost, if that applies?
As of 2024, if you are enrolled in health insurance, it would be in the low 400,000 K or in the 100,000 KRW range if you are a medical aid recipient.
But since the target age is 65 and older, what about those under that age who need dental implants? In that case, the financial burden must be quite significant, right?
That's right. So to prepare for such situations, many people usually sign up for dental insurance. It is broadly divided into the general type and the diagnostic type.
Oh, so there is a difference between the general type and the diagnostic type. In what sense are they distinguished from each other?
To put it simply, for the general type, like the insurance we usually sign up for, you have a duty to disclose your current condition accurately when joining. Yes, that's right. Since you don't get coverage immediately, depending on the product, you can receive benefits only after a waiting period of 90 to 180 days, or sometimes 180 to 365 days from the date of enrollment.
Oh, so what about the general type? Are there any other features or anything else to note?
For the general type, a reduction period is applied, meaning there is a period usually between 1 and 2 years, where only 50% of the benefit is paid.
Then what about the reduction period for the diagnostic type?
In the case of the diagnostic type, since you receive an accurate diagnosis of your current condition at the time of enrollment, you can usually get immediate coverage without a waiting or reduction period, although it varies by product.
Oh, so there is a difference in the waiting period. Now you mentioned that the diagnostic type is when you sign up after getting a diagnosis. If you sign up this way, since it's after the diagnosis, does it mean the insurance premium becomes cheaper or something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, really?
Because you are signing up after receiving an accurate diagnosis of your teeth before enrollment, you can generally get insurance at a lower cost.
Oh, then since many people are likely curious about dental insurance, if we go into more detail, you have to make a choice, right? There are standard types and diagnostic types. Could you tell me which case is more advantageous for which?
Well, for the standard type, since you can sign up quite simply, it's better for those who are very busy, find it hard to make time, or want to receive various treatments.
Yes.
However, keep in mind that the cost is slightly higher than the diagnostic type. The diagnostic type is best for those with no treatment history who are currently healthy and want to prepare in advance, and for those who want cheaper insurance premiums for selective treatments like fillings or implants.
Now, regardless of the type, you've signed up for a dental insurance plan that suits you. If you sign up, does the coverage apply to all types of dental treatment?
Let me give you an example. In the case of dental insurance, sometimes your tooth might get loose from an impact during daily life, like while playing soccer. If you go to the restroom and pull the tooth out yourself, and then go to the dentist to get an implant, that case is not covered.
You've given me an example. So if a tooth gets loose while playing sports and somehow falls out in the restroom, but then you try to get an implant, it's not compensated. For what reason is the compensation denied?
You look at the terms and conditions of the dental insurance. If you pull out a loose tooth yourself, there is no record of the extraction from a hospital, and it wasn't diagnosed by a dentist.
That's right.
So, as you see in this picture, if the dentist says, oh, your tooth is very loose, and then says you need to have it extracted, in that case, you can naturally receive the insurance money.
If the dentist performs the extraction, right?
Yes, that's correct. However, since the removal of a permanent tooth is defined as a procedure where a dentist extracts or removes a tooth, if you pull it out yourself because it feels loose, you cannot receive the insurance money.
Then how about this case? What if I had a tooth extracted at a dentist in the past? So I'm in a state of having one tooth missing. If I sign up for dental insurance now and want to get compensated while getting an implant, would that be covered?
Of course not. The reason is that if you sign up after having it done at a dentist in the past, it's a matter that occurred before you joined anyway. That's right. Therefore, with dental insurance, if you have an extraction and an implant before signing up, it obviously won't be covered. It's only possible if everything from the extraction to the implant happens after enrollment. Also, if you need repairs for existing treatments like crowns or fillings you've already received, payment may be denied in those cases as well.
Now, if all these procedures take place after signing up for dental insurance, for example, you sign up, then get an extraction, and then proceed with the implant. In such cases, there are no issues with the compensation process, right?
That is correct. In that case, it is unconditionally covered.
Yes, understood. We often talk about dental treatments because implants are such expensive procedures, but there are actually many different types of treatments. Could you point out the points we should particularly consider when signing up for dental insurance?
For instance, we can categorize them into prosthetic treatment and conservative treatment. Prosthetic treatment involves creating an artificial tooth to replace a natural one, so implants, bridges, and dentures fall under this category. Conservative treatment involves filling or covering existing teeth, such as crowns or fillings, which are performed without extraction. Depending on the state of your teeth, if you need prosthetic treatment, you likely won't need to sign up for special riders for conservative treatment. By doing that, you can minimize your premiums. And if you have a specific number of teeth you want to be covered for per year, you should check that as well. Also, the renewal cycles for insurance policies differ. Since they vary 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, the longer the renewal cycle, the better it is to prevent premium hikes. So checking this before signing up will be helpful.
Now, we've gotten a few tips on signing up for dental insurance. Since you mentioned the number of teeth covered, I'd like to ask a follow-up. Can this number change depending on how you sign up for each plan?
That's right. Naturally, the more teeth covered per year, the higher the insurance premium will inevitably be. However, when you undergo dental treatment, it's actually rare to treat that many teeth in a single year.
That's true. Indeed, yes.
So it's good to check those factors. For example, even if you receive treatment 10 times a year, you might only be covered for 3, so checking those details before signing up is advisable.
Now, are there people interested in dental insurance but who don't know how much the premiums might be? We'd like to set up an example plan. Now, expert, could you please provide us with a case example? Around what range would the insurance premiums be set?
For example, taking a man and woman in their 50s as a baseline, I've designed a coverage plan divided into restorative and prosthetic treatments. For restorative treatments, as mentioned earlier, this includes crowns, gold, porcelain, and ceramic. And for prosthetic treatments, we've included coverage for implants, bridges, and dentures. When designed as a 15-year renewable plan, meaning the premium won't increase for 15 years, it comes to the 60,001 range for men and the 50,001 range for women. The younger you are, the much cheaper the premiums become.
Put together a plan reflecting your suggestion that it could be advantageous to make the renewal cycle as long as possible. Now, many people are preparing for coverage in the era of 100-year lifespans. So while many people prepare for other illness-related coverage until age 100, is it also good to keep dental insurance until age 100?
Dental insurance is a bit different. Unlike general insurance, maintaining dental insurance for a long time can actually result in a greater loss.
Oh, really?
For example, if your dental insurance premium is 50,000 won, then in 1 year, about 600,000 won will be spent. But over 10 years, that becomes 6 million won. However, if you have restorative treatment where a crown is about 500,000 won by current standards, you would receive 1.5 million won. But since you don't treat 3 teeth at a time, it might be better to get treatment at the appropriate time and then wrap it up.
I see. This advertisement complies with advertising review standards and is valid for 1 year from the 12th.